here in the city, there's nothing more scary than the woods. There's nothing more scary than driving in the woods and not knowing where you're going. There's nothing more scary than driving in the woods, not knowing where you're going, and my apologies to my Caucasian friends in the audience. There's nothing more scary than driving in the woods, not knowing where you're going, and then seeing random rednecks. There doesn't even have to be a supernatural event associated. I'm automatically scared, crying, and just ready to give up the ghost. I think it is important to have stories like this so that people can understand that it is a real fear. People don't understand Black fear. It is a real thing. It lives with us every single day. Stories like Negro Mountain are important. But I'm still gonna ask the question, why this story, why now?
So Negro Mountain was actually based on a true experience. So it was me and a friend. She's Puerto Rican. We were headed to an outdoor event. It's a weekend retreat called Outdoor Women. So you learn how to shoot, you learn how to hunt, you learn how pretty much how to, it's like survival skills. And on our way, because I'm here from Maryland, it was about a 4-hour drive. My first time going to the west side of Maryland, which was all country, and we passed that sign that said Negro Mountain. So everything that happened there was, I added some fiction with the dream, and then of course afterwards with the situation with hitting the guy. But it was a similar thing where after I saw the sign, and she was like, "Wait a minute, hold on. Now I'm on high alert. I think this construction looks a little fraudulent to me. I don't think there's any Black and Latino people in this area." And she actually did pass the guy, the construction guy. She went past him. He did call in and was like, we have somebody that just went past time. But I think she just in that moment that we mentioned the same thing. We got kind of frantic. I was like, I'm not sure if this, something didn't feel right, in the end, everything was okay, and we kind of conjured the story in our head, what we thought it would be, but I think it's also from experience, I'm not sure where we're going, and so it's based on real experience, but then, I added some scary tactics to it.
And I loved it, and I'm so sorry for being so rude. Can you please say your names and who you are in relation to Negro Mountain?
So my name is Alicia Cunningham. I'm the writer, director, producer.
My name is Chibazor, Chip for short. I did the minor sound on set.
And I am Keisha White. I was the GPS voice. So, as we're talking about why this story, why now, and talking and speaking into Black fear, there was a love. Well, the reason why I got put into this space was because of the love between the two women in that car. We always think about what would I do in a situation, what Black people do in horror movies. Speak into that, because you got these two women in the car who have the sister friendship, that deep love for each other. They're protecting each other no matter what, but they're still in a horror situation. I thought it was great.
So I know for me, in general, so I do documentary and horror, and it's really important to have women of color. So Her House Media is my production company, and so with the horror, it has to be women of color in the leading roles. There's no damsels in distress. So it's really important for me to have strong women in those leads. I wanted to have somebody with good friendship. Like that was really important as well, so that you can see. And luckily, the two women who said, they told me to tell the audience, sorry, they couldn't make it. They had an emergency comes up, they couldn't come, but they happened to know each other prior to the film. They worked on other sets before, so they already had that relationship, So I just wanted to show the dynamics of two strong women who are, so we're not tripping and falling. I don't like gore, I don't do gore, and this is, just so you know that this is based on a feature, so it's a proof of concept. To show how their relationship with their love, but still, there's some horror in the midst of it, and our friends just happen to just discover, although she's known her for so many years, that she is a clairvoyant, and she's finding out in that moment. Yeah.
I love that. So let me take it to the actors very quickly. Why did you say yes to this role? Why did you decide to say yes to being the GPS voice in regards to the story?
Well, for me, when she reached out to me, she was just very clear with her vision. Because there's been projects where you really don't know what you know your role, But when you actually get to filming or, things like that, there's so much confusion and things change at the last minute, and she was just very clear from the start. And so that's pretty much the reason why I accepted the role, and I love the way that it came out.
I love that. And let's talk to, you're working on sound design. How difficult was it to make sure that it sounded as, it gave us the eerie feeling, because that's done through sound. So tell us about your process a little bit.
Well, for me, horror film has always been something I wanted to work on. So, and I knew like with horror, it's definitely sound is a huge aspect of it. So I kind of had to make sure that, every single like item that is picked up and just like capturing like the tone in their voice, because you can kind of hear fear in somebody's voice, and just having that come out and just make sure that, because a lot of times I was behind in the car and just trying to make sure I'm as close as possible so I can get the minute sounds, like them picking up the phone, like slamming, just all those like kind of like artifact sounds that's not really vocal. That way, because it does create that, that scene, that presence. Because if you're afraid, you may not necessarily speak first. You're gonna act. So just picking up those sounds. So that was kind of crucial for me. And even though it's my first short film, horror film that I've done sound for. I've done sound for other films, but it was just like I was kind of keen on that, just make sure that I did that part.
I appreciate
We saw Chip's head in the back seat. If you look close enough, you can see it in the back of the truck.
Do we have any questions for, yes?
I noticed that, did you ever see the show Lovecraft Country? Yeah. I was noticing that there were some parallels between this film and the first episode. I was wondering, was there any inspiration from the actual real danger of sundown town?
So initially, that's what I thought Negro Mountain, that area was. When we drove past the sign, and so that's actually the conversation that we had. We're like, she's like, wait, is this sundown town? And I don't know, I think that's where a little panic kind of set in at the same time. But I didn't see Lovecraft Country until after, because people kept telling me about it. So I did see it afterwards, and I could see the connection.
Right.
Yeah.
We got time for one more? Yes.
It's not a question, but I just want to say I love seeing a Black department head in sound. So hats off to you guys in production.
Thank you.
That's right.
All right, guys, please give this amazing cast.